It's important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is actually one of your biggest advantages. Everybody wants to fulfill the highest, truest expression of yourself.
Hey, welcome back to the Shift and Uplift podcast. As always, this is your girl, Jacque. First off, I have to tell you guys how much I appreciate each and every one of you. I just want to say thank you for sticking with me through this so ever never ending crazy journey. Life is always doing its thing, but like I said, we're back. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments, your messages, your DM messages, the emails. I really appreciate it. This is going to hit deep. Today, we're talking about soul ties. Have you ever felt something that's super unexplainable? Connection with someone that just wouldn't let go, no matter how much you tried to move on? Yep, we're going there. Imagine this. You met someone and it's like the universe just aligned in that moment anyway. Your heart beats, flutters like a butterfly. Your souls seem to just fit and recognize each other. And before you know it, you're caught up in this whirlwind connection that feels so much deeper than anything you have ever known. But what happens when that connection turns into something that's hard to break free from? What happens when it's not any good for you? That, my friend, is what we call a soul tie. Let me tell you, I have a little story about a time when I found myself tangled up in what I, quote unquote, I'm going to call a soul tie, right? Now, for the sake of privacy and for the sake of hypotheticals, because maybe it didn't even really happen because I was just maybe dreaming, right? And because, I got a man, I'm not going to go too deep, but I'm just going to keep it real as I can, right? But let's say it was this person in my past, someone who seemed to have it all together on the surface, right? Before you know him, fun, charming, kind of made me feel like what I would think a high would feel. I was kind of hooked, maybe, again, hypothetically, right? But as time went on, as a human, as a person, as me being so aware and the thinker who brain just never stops, mind never stops, I started to see the cracks. This person wasn't necessarily who they were claiming to be or who they were showing me and others to be. We're not going to call them cap because no one's supposed to say all the bad stuff and show the world like, hey, I'm experiencing this, and my house is not together, right? My life is not together. But I would say that they were really great with camouflaging what was real life and what was fantasy life. Life definitely seemed a lot more thought out on the surface, right? But eventually, as we got to know each other, I realized that it just wasn't healthy because that person was struggling with so many things within themselves. Being the person I was, I kind of felt like I wanted to fix it, right? And part of me also felt like they had a hold on my soul. I kept thinking that it was my job to fix them, my job to be there, and my job to make sure that they were okay. But in reality, I was just digging myself into a deeper hole. It wasn't really until I stepped back and I looked at what this connection was doing to me and I realized I had to let it go. They can feel like they're meant to be. The connection can be so amazing, but sometimes it's the very tie that's holding you back. So what exactly are soul ties? The term may not be found in the Bible or maybe even backed by science, right? But it's said to be something that a lot of people feel in their core. A soul tie is this super intense emotional and spiritual connection that you form with someone. It can be romantic, it can be friendly, it can be familiar, you know? And while some soul ties can definitely be healthy, others can turn super toxic super fast. Keeping you tied to someone or something that's no longer good to you is a soul tie, my friend. There are different type of soul ties, right? It's spiritual, it's emotional, and let's not act like it's not sexual, because it definitely can be sexual soul ties as well. Each type of soul tie, it can definitely create a powerful bond that's hard to break, especially when that connection is rooted deep in experiences or physical intimacy. But not all soul ties are created equal. Some you can uplift. Some soul ties make you feel like you're seen and heard and valued, while others can drain you. And other soul ties can leave you feeling stuck and unable to move forward. You have to be the person that actually take yourself from the outside looking in to see what kind of soul tie is it really versus what kind of soul tie you're telling yourself that this is, right? And is it even a soul tie? Is it a soul tie, or are you in la la land, what they say, being delusional, and you want it to be a soul tie? So let's talk about instant connection versus a lasting bond. And one of the most common signs of a soul tie is that instant deep connection. It feels like you've known this person forever and your souls are intertwined. But just because it feels deep doesn't mean it's healthy. Soul ties can be like a magnet, just pulling you guys towards each other. And even when it's not good for either of you, you might find yourself thinking about them constantly, feeling like you can't escape their presence, and even when you're apart. The different type of soul ties, in my opinion, let's just go ahead and break this down for you. So let's break down the different types of soul ties. A spiritual soul tie is often formed through shared beliefs, shared values, and maybe even rituals, things you just kind of do over and over again, right? It's like you connect on a different level that goes way beyond physical. I would say emotional soul ties are built from close friendship or even romantic relationships or deep family bonds. Those are the ones that you feel like you can just kind of read each other's mind and finish each other's sentences. You guys just get each other. And then, oh gosh, there are sexual soul ties. This is the idea that physical intimacy can create a deep emotional bond, and it intertwines with your soul. These can be the hardest to break because they involve both physical and emotional elements. Now, when it comes to healthy versus unhealthy soul ties, not all soul ties are bad. Again, not all soul ties are bad. So just because you have a soul tie with someone, it doesn't mean that you need to break it. When they're built on trust and honesty and mutual support, it can be such a beautiful thing. But let's repeat that one more time, just before you go to start saying that it's beautiful and girl, he done lied and lied and lied, or she done lied and lied a lot. No. When soul ties are built on trust, honesty, and mutual support, meaning you support them and they support you, it can be a beautiful thing. But when they're rooted in control and dependency or dishonesty, that's when it becomes toxic, because one of you potentially fell for that person based off a bunch of book of lies. Unhealthy soul ties often lead to codependency. It's like you lose your sense of self and your interests and your dreams because you're so wrapped up into the other person. It's like you can't breathe without them. And that's not love. It's a trap. Let's talk about soul ties versus soul mates and twin flames. Now, I've known that we've all heard about soul ties and twin flames, but soul ties are different. A soul mate is often seen as like your forever person, the one person that you're potentially destined to be with, or the one person that's meant to be a part of your life for the rest of your life. But soul ties, on the other hand, can be an intense connection that may or may not be meant to last. Twin flames, on the other hand, those are those super fiery connections that just comes together quickly and burn out just as fast. Soul ties tend to linger, holding you in place long after the fire should have been burnt out. So breaking free from a soul tie, whew, I thought you'd never ask. Breaking free from a soul tie, it isn't easy. It took me a super long time to realize that quote unquote connection with that non-existent person, it was doing more harm than good. I had to take a step back and I had to set some boundaries, and I just honestly had to focus on myself. It wasn't about hating them or wishing them ill. It was just about loving myself enough to let them go. And let me tell you, once I did, it was like a weight have been lifted off my shoulders. I can finally see clearly and see them for who they are versus who I wanted them to be. I was able to breathe deeply and move forward with my life and get back on track. And that's what allowed me to appreciate love even more and appreciate the healthy connections that I built with someone because it was so much worth it. So the first step in breaking a soul tie is acknowledging it. How simple is that, right? You have to recognize that this connection exists and it's not serving you anymore. This can be the hardest part of it because it often means letting go of someone that you feel that you care for so deeply. And remember, it's okay to grieve and feel sad about that loss and that connection. It's okay to think about it, about the memories and all of that. You're human. It happens. And just because it's toxic or it was toxic, it doesn't mean that it did mean something to you. It's okay, but you still got to move on. Number 2, set boundaries. Setting boundaries are essential. You may need to cut off contact with that person, or at least for a while. It's about giving yourself the space to heal and rediscover who you are outside of that relationship or situationship. This may mean blocking them on social media, not answering their calls, avoiding places that you know that they'll be. And it's not about being cruel. It's about doing what's best for you and simply protecting your peace. Number 3, lean on your support system. Breaking a soul tie, it isn't something that you have to do alone. Lean on your friends and your family and even a therapist, for God's sakes, and whoever else can help you through the process. Sometimes talking about it with someone who understands you and it, or love you enough or care for you enough to understand you, it can make all the difference. Engage in the activities that uplift you, whether it's a hobby or an exercise or a spiritual practice. Pouring your energy into something positive, it will definitely help you reclaim your power. Number 4 is ask for forgiveness. Number 4 is practice forgiveness and self-love. Forgiveness is key. Not just for the sake of forgiving the other person, but forgive yourself for getting caught up with that in the first place. My gosh, we are all human and we all make mistakes. Focus on self-love and self-care and remind yourself that you're worthy and you deserve a healthy relationship. You deserve a fulfilling relationship, and that's okay to walk away from the people that don't give you that. Now, 7-figure babes, if you're caught up in a soul tie that's dragging you down, I want you to know that you have the power to break free if that's what you want to do. It's not going to be easy, but it'll be worth it. You are so worthy of love that lifts you and makes you happy and smile, and that's soft and kind and genuine, and not the love that ties you down. You are strong enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you. Remember, you are freaking amazing and you deserve the best. Don't settle for anything less. Take control of your life. Break free from those unhealthy ties and watch how your world is going to open up. And don't forget, the next episode, we're diving deep into another topic. It's going to be a good one. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the Shift and Uplift podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review. And as always, you can connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Be Jacque Allen. Until next time, peace and a bottle of hair grease.